Oh, okay. You were saying.
I just thought about how the same, like, when I had my PhD advisor, um, my first year was like a great year, and my second year, like a lot of things happened, but it was like for him, he thought that the institution that we were both a part of at that time would fight for him and would like want to support him in his ascension and his journey and his goals for his professional career. He thought that the 10 years of service he'd done spoke for themselves and that this institution would like show up for them when he mentioned that he was shopping around for other opportunities because he hadn't been made, I think it was like tenure and full professor or like something. I think he got tenured there. But even tenured, like he wasn't being given like the position I think he wanted. I don't remember very well. It's been like a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'll remember tomorrow for sure. That always happens. But the point is like he went in thinking that when he presented this offer, someone else would want to present him with a different offer. And they literally did not care. They were like, they use you and they dispose of you. And that was my first year, right? Or my second year in my program. And when I was in my dissertation, like I thought that this team of people who said they were like my committee, that they were on it, were gonna show up for me. Like that no matter what, like I thought I'd actually had a really supportive committee. And like just like he went through that deep betrayal, I went through that deep betrayal at the same institution, because that's a culture that you use people and you dispose of them. You know, you use people until they're no longer able to give you what you need in some way. It's transactional. It's very much like what capitalism teaches you to do, right? And just like for me, like I was like they were shocked and I was shocked too. But them they got a better opportunity. They got offered I think even more than CGU was giving them at that time. But they really wanted to stay there because they hoped that they could stay there because they liked what they were doing. But it was time for them to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was never gonna leave CGU, you know, if I didn't choose to leave it. There's some people that unfortunately, it goes back to a video I did a while ago. I remember there's some situations that, like, you keep learning the same thing, and if there's just comes a time that it has to get so bad in order for you to learn from your situation and to move forward, to move on. Sometimes it does take deep betrayal, you know, a deep, shitty moment to finally be like, enough. I can't do this anymore. And that sucks at some ways, right? That, like, there might be other signs that happen, but sometimes it takes something really big, something really painful and hurtful, like a really big wound for us to be like, oh shit, we have to get out of here. We have to move on. Like, we have to end this. We have to move forward in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
But there's people who go through these things and don't learn from any of them, who choose to not learn from any of them. And as painful as it is to go through that and to have those moments where there's the only way you finally say I need to end this or I need to do something different is when shit hits the fan. Like, that sucks because it means it had to be something horrendous, something truly painful, a wound that takes a lot, a wound that's been festering. Like, it's not just a wound, it's like you've let it fester until you're fucking like at your worst point, you know? And it takes so much to take that moment and not let it destroy you and not let it destroy your humanity and choose to learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. But like I just thought about how when I was leaving my program, it was like my turn to experience that pain, that betrayal. Um, and not because like I deserved it in any way, but what I mean is like we see all these
Well, like
things.
generational curses of it all. The like.
Literally, like I have a lineage, and it's not just the people in my immediate family, you know, or extended family. The generational lineage is also chosen family. Like there's people in my life that are have been part of my life in other ways before, and they're part of like the lineage as well of my personhood, my soul. Like every person I come across is part of some sort of lineage. Like they were part of my life journey is what I mean. And every lesson is like every experience is hard. It's not like not every experience is hard. There's some really beautiful things. It's not just pain. It's not just bad. Some really beautiful people that I've met that I just like
Beautiful moments have been created.
like situations. Like words cannot describe some of the most beautiful things
I would love to hear some of the beautiful moments people had with me. And then I will share a beautiful moment I had with you.
Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, I remember one of the things you and I talked about was how we wanted to be able to have like we'd love to have people like write in, record themselves, create something that showcased a moment we had together that like just that lit up their soul. Because I have a lot of people in my life that lit up my soul at different points.
Yeah.
Like those friends I had that are no longer part of my life, at a certain point in my life, our souls lit up together.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it'd be cool to hear, like, what were the lit up moments we experienced together? Yeah. What are some of the reasons why we decided to be friends? And also, it's cool if we left, like, we're not in each other's lives like that. But I think it would be nice to remember that, like,
it wasn't always just the shit.
Yeah. And also, sometimes goodbyes just happen naturally.
Yeah.
It wasn't personal, like, at all. I've actually found it really hard to make friends right now because I'm like I don't have the capacity to be there for a lot of people like super consistently. It's like I am literally like one time I'll see you have really great moments and then you won't hear from me in weeks or months depending on how I'm doing. And also because I'm honoring my capacity. Past me would have like kept messaging people back to back because it was like that's what was expected, this instant communication. I'm like, but that's not how communications were back in the day. Like we gotta live, we're going back to the past in some ways, and we can either be the people that are going to be going back to the past. You're forced there, and someone else makes a decision on what that past looks like, and what I mean is like you're just moving through life. You get to decide how the fuck you want to move in life, how the fuck you want to live in life. All the tech, all the things that are currently available to us, there's some things we don't fucking need. We actually don't have the capacity to operate anymore. Everyone's going through regression, man. And you gotta fucking pick your lanes. What are the things that you really need to and want to focus on?
One of the things that burnout really helped me understand is like what were the things that I wanted, I truly wanted to pour energy into. The things, the people, the experiences that I wanted to put energy into. And like we cultivated a lot of beautiful moments in our home in 2023 and 2024 that we wanted to cultivate when we could, right? And they've changed over time.
Yeah.
Not from a bad thing, but like they have just changed based on our capacities and stuff. But we've cultivated so many beautiful moments, and I've also like I'm adjusting to a new role in my life with like a true major shift in my life. You know, one of the greatest roles one could have, and it's really hard to do it.
I never wanted to be a parent.
Yeah, being a parent has always scared the shit out of me. I've been parenting since I was a kid. I, so like I think about little Crystal being a parent, and like I've been parenting since I was a child, and I am literally, for the majority of my life, said I never wanted to be a parent. Like when I had when I finally had the understanding, like the to like make that decision, I never wanted to be a parent. It was always so scary and intimidating, and also like I've been a parent my whole life. I didn't want that. I wanted to stop that role in my life.
Mm-hmm. I've done everything literally possible to ensure I don't have kids.
Yeah.
And I somehow have two.
Well, I've never stopped having kids.
Yeah.
We're 33? 33,
Mm-hmm.
and we've never stopped having kids. You know? That's heavy. Like, that's super hard, you know?
Yeah, and the main kid is me, and taking care of me is exhausting.
I'm high maintenance, baby.
I'm like,
meaning
I've been cooking for myself most of this week.
All of us.
Yeah, but like I've finally been doing cooking because I got tired of the way my personal chefs were working. They couldn't hack it. I have really high standards on how I like some meals. And the meals that I wanted, I had to prepare myself. The only stem meals that I was like able to eat meant I had to cook for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit took me out. It was like a week, maybe about a week's worth of cooking that I've been doing. And I'm just like, whew, that's so fucking hard. And also on top of that, I'm taking care of another human. And I also chose to be a dog parent. So I have another child that I also am responsible for. And then I have my viejitos that I'm also looking out for. And like everyone in this house be parenting.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
it's like being a teacher student, like to embody it.
Caring, helping each other, care for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wild, man. Like, it's wild to embrace.
Yeah.
To commit to supporting and caring for yourself, and like part of community is that you're agreeing to take care of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes, like when we say parenting, it's like helping meet a need, and sometimes you are gonna struggle. Like as a disabled community, there's certain needs that I can't meet for myself. I'll speak for myself. There's some needs I can't meet for myself at certain points in my life. It changes all the time. It's never the same. And I need other people to tap in to help me meet that need.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some needs that like I'm able to meet that actually I'm able to meet for myself, and I actually have the capacity to help other people meet that need. It's like a skill I may have. It's an ability I have. Like I'm using my ability to camouflage in the wild right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like to work.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm constantly like I feel like I'm camouflaging as a like normie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's why I can't go back to work. I'm just like, girl, the costs, do they outweigh the benefits?
Yeah, no, the thing is like the scary thing is that like I'm doing the best I can, but there's some days I'm not handling it well.
Well, let's just say that you're not as great of an actress as you thought. You know?
Well, the thing is Let me change that. Like, I'm camouflaging, but when I get home, I take it off.
And we all know you're gonna take it off.
Like, the people that there's very few people I allow to see me as my unmasked self. Those are people that I have allowed to see that part of me. It's a very vulnerable part and it's a very scary part. And I am like, I'm also like, I used to camouflage so well that people didn't think to worry about me. One of the things I've learned is that even in work, I have to, it's okay for me to showcase a little bit. Like, I can't show, people think like they are seeing me stressed. I'm like, you don't realize how stressed I am. Like, it's worse than that.
Like, I can let this out and really show you how I'm feeling.
And like, I know that it's not allowed in polite society. Girl, we are in the fucking ton. You know what I mean? All these people like loving Bridgerton and like, you know, loving
They
that
think we're
power
so
dynamic.
progressive right
And
now.
I'm like, bitch, we are like, we're the fucking criados and working in the ton for the ton.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all
We
the
just-
people that think that you're the ton, you're not the ton.
That was everything.
You know, I'm talking to all the people that feel that they're comfortable and that they're actually doing well. You're still not at the ton. You think you are. Like, the ton is something most of us, the majority of us have never even, but like, even allowed ourselves to dream that can happen. Like, the things that some of us think are like, oh my god, if I was a millionaire, if I was like, if I made hella money, like, the way that we imagine, like, the possibilities is like small compared to the people that belong to the ton, you know, the people that belong to the 1% of wealth,
Yeah.
of wealth owners.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's literally 1% of people that own the majority of the wealth resources in this world. 1% of the people. And y'all think you're in the ton? I don't think so.
Like, I just thought about damn it, se me fue. Like, the ton. I'm like, I've been listening to ape shit a lot. And like, the Carters are like either that black family that just by like by one family, the death of a family member, they all of a sudden get access to the ton.
Oh, in Bridgerton.
Yeah.
I was like,
Um.
well, I forget that all started as a social experiment who was granted power. Like, the whole point of the prequel that is created, which I hated, I was like, girl, leave his ass. You don't need any of this. Literally. I don't know why people love that story. That story was the worst. It was the pits.
I'm like, now I'm the fucking full-time caregiver of this dude.
Man, and I'm gonna be criticized because I'm a black woman, and all these white people just let me in because of an experiment, the great experiment. Like,
that's literally how things have been working forever.
Well, that's what like legislation has been. They're like, what happens? People get bored, man, and they're like, I wonder what happens if we give them a little bit of freedom. Like, what would they do? They're still gonna find a way to fight against each other. We're good because people always find a way to hate each other.
I'm with stupid t-shirts all around.
Yeah. Well, because what happens when you're hurt? Like, you learn to survive or you don't. And so, if you're surviving right now, bro, you hurt people too. I'm saying that because I've hurt people. Like, I'm not perfect. As there's been great things, like, there's still a lot of fuck ups I make.
No, and I have like I think that I really want to hear the good moments, the special moments that I had with people. I'm like, and also like, I guess like maybe like, I don't know. I'm just like, I think I'll just say it this way. I could tell you every person that has like that I have felt I've had a special moment with. And I could also tell you every person that I've had really shitty moments with where I've been the villain in their life. I am aware of when I've been the villain in my life. And
Not
it's
always,
and what I
but
mean is like I'm aware like
sometimes not in those moments,
yeah.
but later on.
Yeah. But I'm like I'm a person that's also like I do go through my Rolodex of people and I'm like, damn, some occasion I'll remember and I'm like, damn, I really hurt that person. Or like that was really terrible of me. Like I carry some shame for that too.
Yeah.
And like because as yeah, like as a human being you're gray. Like I both carry the shame and guilt of my actions as I carry um like the joy and happiness of my actions.
And the thing is also that, like, when I had my good girl programming indoctrination, I learned, like, I had very particular ways of viewing the world, and everything that didn't exist outside of that was bad. Like, anything that existed outside of that programming was bad.
Mhm.
And like what's happened in these past 3 years is that I've been slowly trying to write new code. Like I've erased that code, but sometimes I realize that there's still a bug. There's still things happening that indoctrination programming is still. I have not hacked it. I have not created the. I have not reached the point of coding.
Damn.
Accurately
Mhm.
to a different framework. And the thing
Mhm.
though is that like it's always changing too. Like every
Mhm.
time now I'm learning to embrace the flexibility of like, man, I'm sure there's things I'm doing now that are gonna be wrong. That in a couple years I might live to wish I'd done differently. That I might realize, I've made mistakes on. I have incorrectly viewed a situation. But I think what I'm learning is that I'm just literally day by day trying to rewrite a new code. And in the process, as life happens, I'm experiencing moments from my past self. And I want to react and respond in the ways I used to. And sometimes I do. And sometimes I'm able to start writing something new. But I'm testing it out. I don't know, the exact right code. I don't know the exact right formula of there is no perfect code. There is no one way of being.
It's just curiosity leading this wagon.
Curiosity and humility to accept our humanity, that I will make mistakes and be willing to hold myself accountable and accountable and responsible for my own growth and development. I don't need for people to always have to take on the responsibility of helping me grow and learn from my mistakes. I can actually do that. I've
Mhm.
been doing it.
Mhm.
This was a wild ride.
Yeah.
Did
I'm
you
like,
know?
"Oh, we've been doing our podcast. I forgot. It just looks different than this is basically our podcast or recordings."
Oh yeah. I mean, we've done what we can.
Yeah. I'm like, "Oh, we found a way to do it cuz right now it's within our capacity."
Yeah, I know. And also, um, I would need funds in order to be able to do the podcast again. I would need funds. Like I want to do some virtual groups.
A studio?
I would like to. Yeah, I think I need a work studio somewhere else where I could go work.
Mhm. There's specific times that I'm expected to work and practice these things.
Well, like the
Like for
thing is, I
me,
don't.
like when I
Yeah.
need it, like not
Well.
all the time, but
Oh no. Yeah. No. Well, like sometimes I just need space to myself to do something. Like I like my home to be my sanctuary. Like I don't. I do work in my home, but I also do like just chilling and being able to rest and knowing that when I'm here, I guess one of the things I have liked about working in the way I'm working is that like I don't have like a whole bunch of work I have to take home with me and finish.
That was the biggest appeal to these jobs.
Yeah, like girl, the way I used to be, like the 40 hours a week weren't enough. I worked so much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like a great example of that is when I was working on my first qualitative research project, which became my qualifying exam. Um, I remember having that work and working over 40 hours. I think like 70 or 80 hours is what I worked. And you know what I charged for the work I did? I charged for 20 hours because the template I had received only had 20 hours. So it felt really like I was supposed to accomplish this in 20 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't able to accomplish that in 20 hours. It took me almost 4 times, I think, the amount. And I only got paid for $20. 20 hours of work.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like we were just like, oh, this is what we agreed to. So obviously we should be able to do this in 20 hours. But we can't. So even though I worked 100 hours, I'm just going to say
I
20
just
hours.
can't charge for that, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's my internship. Well, most of my internships were unpaid, but the job that was paid, like I worked so hard on that job, the research assistant job that I did for Anna's husband. I worked like so many hours, but I also never charged for the actual amount of hours I worked because I was just like, I have basically, I'm I'm not the one that's hired to do outlines. Like outlines, I was supposed to be doing annotated bibliographies of these books.
mm-hmm.
And I literally like looked through these books meticulously. I thought I was supposed to do like 20 books. I only got over like 3 books. But out of those 3 books, I was able to give a lot of information. Very helpful notes about the books, I like to think.
Oh my god, we should see if we can find your work.
Yeah, but like I just remember it took so many fucking hours to do, but I only put in the hours that I was given.
Yeah,
So naturally, as human beings, like when you have a 40-hour work week, but then you're given the tasks, the actual tasks, you just assume you're only working 40 hours. But like you be working like at the speed of like you have to multiply.
Well, how many of you take your work home? How many of you are answering phone calls or messages or emails about your work outside of work hours? How many of you are taking breaks to work on the work that you haven't done, that you need to finish, to give yourself extra time?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense. But like there's so many ways that we're working.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how many of you drive to your job?
Girl, I literally got a memory as you were talking. I was brought back to my internship in LA that I had, and how exhausting that experience was. And also, I was like, I never even knew what even though they gave me this information on the expectation, there was no guidance. It was just like, yeah, you're gonna do this, and like see what you can find. But I was like, is this work even gonna be used?
Mm-hmm.
But like I just remember though how horrifying the trip there was.
Girl, I also remember that accident you witnessed. I was just like, you just texted me about it. I'm still traumatized about it.
Like the things being on the road, like there were times that I literally was like, I'm so bored. This is the most boring thing ever. I am so bored and it's making me sleepy. Like this drive is so painful. I remember taking the bus and being like, oh, I guess I could sleep. But like the morning bus wasn't necessarily the problem. The problem was the afternoons when like it was like you weren't even sure if the bus was gonna get there or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I my life depended on the time of some of a system that sucks. That was so stressful.
Yeah, girl, I still remember when I was in my internship in LA, and which one was it? The the internship at Lamothe. I remember how I got downtown multiple times because I had to take a bus from Orange County to all the way to downtown LA, and then from downtown LA take another bus to go to Lamothe. It was a 3.5 hour bus drive either each way, and 3.5 hour, 2.5 hour, whatever, 3 hour, whatever. But it was long ass travel time. I remember like being tired and getting downtown and realizing the bus wasn't coming. That I had to like I'm like, oh my god, is there another way to get home? How the fuck do I get home without having to be picked up? And so that means I have to wait around somewhere for hours until I'm able to be picked up. Like, I have to fucking figure out how to get home. I just remember that, like, having several moments, or like the accident literally as we were leaving downtown LA, fucking gets into an accident. Someone crashes into the bus or something.
Oh, yeah.
And like, yeah, we all had to get off. And then we have to get onto the bus that's already full of the first passengers from the stop beforehand. And then like you had to be like, there were people that were older, so I'm like, I guess I should be kind and give my seat up to the older people. And then there were also, but I was also like, girl, I'm fucking tired as hell. I know I just had an office job and whatever, but I cannot stand up for like the 2 hour and a half drive or whatever to the next stop. I was just like, this is so tiring.
Yeah.
It was like a lot of sacrifice for nothing. I wasn't even paid for that internship. I was through different means, but it was fucking joke. Torture. Well, I got, not just that, but it was fucking torture because at the start of my internship, I remember I was an Earlwood Scholar. OC Kant was the first name. And like, I seriously remember, sorry, my phone, I just put my phone this way. I remember the first internship, no, this was the second internship I had with them. Being a scholar meant that I had to have an internship every summer, whether it was free or it was paid. But I managed to get in. My last internship was at Lamothe in Los Angeles, a Jewish museum about World War II and all that. And
that we've been researchers our whole lives.
Yeah. And I just remember that I had heard from someone that the organization had done an exception of some sort, where they paid the student, they paid the money ahead of time because they really needed the money in order to be able to complete the internship. And that they also low-key just made up an internship for them. But then when I asked them, I was just like, I secured my own internship. That's not the problem. My problem is just the finances. You're expecting me to pay for public transportation from Anaheim to downtown LA, or no, to beyond downtown LA. Like that's gonna be a trip. I've already done the first internship I did. No, the second internship I did was also in LA, and that internship was also, I had to pay, and I had to take Amtrak as the mode of transfer I chose. And it was fucking expensive. It was like $15 round trip or something. And this was a free internship. I didn't have any money. This was
before gas was $6, okay?
Yeah.
Just putting that in context.
Yeah. This was when gas was cheaper.
And it was still expensive.
Yeah. And not just that, but we didn't have enough cars. I couldn't take a car from an actual job, a paying job. It was a family car. And it was hard.
Well, we've always navigated with limited resources in some ways, you know. Like we always stretched everything as much as we could.
We found ways that worked for us, or they didn't, but we survived. But yeah, damn, I just remembered that. Oh, oh, I remember those. And the really beautiful story about that is like I remember my boss gave me like $300. The lady that had supervised me while I was there at the end of the summer gave me like $300, and I remember feeling so fucking grateful because I was like, ooh, like I know it's nothing compared to the like the labor I did and the time I spent getting there. I understand that, but I was just really grateful that someone saw me enough to be like, you know what, like I didn't have to do any additional labor except just be myself.
Well, and when you were in the nonprofit sector, you were like, damn, like some people, it was expensive to try to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't in your budget to be able to do that for people.
Yeah, I literally was only able to do that with one of my interns at PLC. I wasn't able to repeat that the following year when I had an intern.
Yeah, that wasn't in the capacity at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about the money, but when you said it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember you saying something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but OCCAM basically, I asked them for money, and then they said that they couldn't do anything about it.
They were always like so interesting to me.
Yeah, I was literally just being like that bitch. I was literally the whole point of the scholarship was that you're supposed to go to a liberal arts school, and that you were supposed to move out of state. You couldn't stay in California. And then still, most of the students chose to stay in California and go to school. I was like one of the only ones, I think I was the only one, that moved out of state to go to college and went to liberal arts. I was the only one that followed to the T what they said. And I did everything they said. Did the fucking workshops that I was supposed to go to. Tortured myself during like the holiday breaks to go and do these supposed workshops that were supposedly gonna help me. And not eat for the whole day because your food was disgusting.
Oh my god, that was my teacher.
Like I sacrificed so much for that scholarship, and like in my time of need, I always needed, but in the time that I was like, I literally like, I need financial help for this, they couldn't help me. And I always needed, but it was the one time I actually asked, and they said no. And I remember just being so fucking stressed about money and heartbroken at the same time. And also having to show up and pretend that everything was fine in this internship. And that was just like, just really wanting to research. And I believed all that. I did really want to learn because I was told that I was supposed to learn from these internships.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was never fake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Girl, I worked way too much.
But yeah, so those were my stories.
The same thing with the LA one. Girl, that was me trying to do practitioner work, not just theoretical. And then I learned that it was also theoretical. That so many of the nonprofits are also just theoretical.
Well, it's another sector that's just meant to theorize, to waste your time theorizing.
Are the ways we could help the community? The community is like, we need money, we need jobs,
and doing just experiments, and it's like, oh,
no, they need this policy that's gonna change this thing so their kids can go to college, and then after college they can get a good job, and then maybe after that they can help them too. Trickle down economics.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it sounds like when people are like, we need to get people into college now.
Yeah.
Girl, what you described with the OC-CAN, I got OC-CAN for Teach for America.
Yeah.
Teach for America was my OC-CAN.
Yeah. Ooh. Damn. That's why my speech was not about them. I just used the tools I had at my disposal at the moment, at that time.
Yeah. Girl.
Damn, what a time. I was definitely a villain at the end of that story.
Honestly, worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I was like, do not regret at all.
No regrets.
I would do it again and even better.
Yeah, I have better ways.
I'd be live streaming that bitch.
Good times, good times.
Yeah. Alright, I think I'll end here.